it off to Will Coleman for the tomahawk. Oh, my. Will Coleman off the run.
He dominated on the court. Now he brings us talent to the microphone. Welcome to the Will Coleman Show, a Bluff City Media audio podcast. Stepping up to the microphone is the big man himself, Will Coleman. Now, let's get to the show.
What up? Hey, listen, I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know. It's been a minute, okay? That's completely my fault. I'm extremely sorry about that. But listen, I got plenty to talk about.
Well, it wasn't completely your fault.
I mean, okay, all right. I'll take 70% of the blame.
Listen, let me tell you what. Let me go behind the scenes with everybody.
Hey, I'm with it. Let's do it.
And just kind of give some insight into sometimes you make mistakes, man.
Yeah.
And so we were headed to Christian and I spent an entire weekend with Mason Dashiell over in Fort Worth, and we were watching and covering the Tigers win the AAC tournament. Man, it was such a good weekend. Coming home, everybody's excited. Will Coleman shows up to the studio, records this banger episode. Banger. I mean, a killer episode. And I'm like, you know what, Christian, we're leaving tomorrow, the day after Will films his episode. I'm going to need you to drive so I can edit Will's episode in the car as we're headed to Columbus for the NCAA tournament. And what did I do? I left everything at home. I left my hard drive. And so I'm texting Will going, bro, I am so sorry. So that to me is like at least worth 70% of the blame coming to me. Because you filmed the episode.
Okay.
You were here and I dropped the ball.
Okay. All right, I'll take that. We'll go 70-30. Okay.
It's like you get the ball in the paint, right? Mm-hmm. You're in the post-up position. And you got people are telling you, hey, man, watch out for the cutters, watch out for the guys. Just get the ball out of the paint. If you're double teamed, get the ball to the open man. And you did that. And you delivered a perfect pass to a guy cutting down the middle of the lane.
Okay. I get it.
I'm the guy cutting down the middle of the lane, and the ball smacks me in the face and goes out of bounds. And you miss out on your assist. I ruined your stat line, bro.
It's okay. It's all right. That's all right. Well, we're gonna bounce back. That's what great teams do.
This is what we do, man.
We bounce back. But look, so much to talk about, and I feel like, again, there's a lot to talk about. But I'm going to stick. I'm gonna stick to. I got some things on my mind, but first and foremost, I wanna talk to you. A little bit, Kenny.
I'm here.
If you. I know we got some great momentum going into next season, and I think that's great, but I never got a chance to really address it. But if you had to grade Penny's 2022-2023 season, what would you give it? Obviously, F being the lowest, A+ being the greatest.
Man, oh gosh. I mean, obviously great is, A+ great. I would not give him an A+ great grade. I think we have to put it into the mindset of what did we expect as we were walking into the season. And I'm going to be frank with you, nobody really knew what to expect, right, Will?
Nobody. No, everybody thought it was I'm just going, and as me will always be, I'm biased, I'll say that, but also can look at the game from a realistic point of view. Everybody thought it was a huge dumpster fire. Dumpster fire come November. October, November, everybody was just kind of like, what the hell is happening right now?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What's going on?
Well, I mean, just with the total roster changeover, the way that the roster was just completely changed over. I think two things really kind of made people go, okay, maybe something interesting is going on here. And I think number one, it was getting Frank Haith as an assistant coach.
Yeah.
I think because, if you listen to anybody that knows basketball, they would say, man, there's no doubting Penny's ability to get players to come to the University of Memphis.
Right.
But it's that and no knock on him at all, but just it's that growth as a game manager, growth as a X's and O's kind of guy. And listen, man, I don't know what people think about Frank Haith, but Frank Haith is a hell of a coach.
Coach.
He gave Penny the business when he was at Tulsa.
Yeah, he did.
You know, Penny had a really, really difficult time against Frank Haith coach teams. And so what did Penny go do? He goes in and brings Frank Haith as an assistant coach to the team, and I think that was a big deal.
Yeah.
I think that was a huge deal, having a guy who has been a head coach at really, really big levels for years was a big deal. And then also, obviously, getting Kendrick Davis out of the transfer portal, there's a level of like, okay, there could be something happening here, but we just don't know.
We don't know. And hindsight, playing devil's advocate. And I know, everybody wants to be on the inside looking out, but unfortunately we can't. Everybody doesn't have access to that. You talk about how great Frank was and you talk about the job that he's doing, but we got Keontae bouncing. You got Frank bouncing.
Right.
So, I mean, that raises a lot of eyebrows for a lot of people. Now, will stuff like that surface? No one knows. But for the time being, I agree with you. I'm going to, I'll say I'll give my guys maybe if possible, maybe a B++.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think if we're taking a step back from the year, I think you can say a high B+, low A- type of year because because they definitely, I mean, played a much tougher schedule a non-conference schedule this year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Came out of it looking really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
They went into the conference schedule. They had a couple of moments where they had, two Tulane losses. They had a loss to UCF where they were up by 11 with a minute and something on the clock.
Yeah,
lost that game. But there was one of the things that I think we all saw with this Tiger team this entire year is while they might not be the most talented team, this is probably this is the toughest team that Penny has had.
Yeah.
And so I think the AAC tournament championship was the icing on the cake for Tiger fans.
Oh man.
That weekend, I know, listen, again, it's my fault. You've already talked about this on the podcast. That is one of those episodes that's going to live in infamy forever. Nobody's ever going to see it. For all of the Lady Will Coleman fans out there, he was shirtless the entire time. I'm joking. But you've already talked about it, but kind of give your thoughts again, man. What was that AAC tournament like for you?
That thing was it's almost like it was nostalgic, man.
Yeah, it was, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
I mean, on paper, it say the forum only sit about 18,000.
Right.
Maybe 19. But I promise you, I'm surprised nobody didn't call the fire department. We most def broke some codes that game. Or just the tournament, man, because I bet it was 20 plus in there. It had to be. It had to be, man.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if some folks snuck in there. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I say it once and I say it again. Since Penny has been here, this past year was his best team he has ever put together. And to be honest with you, I'm excited. Like I said, Penny has reloaded and he, he reloaded the clip. He got some firepower coming in, but I just don't know if he'll have another. I mean, that team, he may be able to top that team, but that team he had, everybody was locked in. Everybody was glued in. Everybody was there for one another on that floor. The players loved each other. You never got so much as a peep out of that team, out of that organization about the players bumping heads. Everybody on that court was truly, truly happy for one another, and it showed on the basketball court. And I think the city of Memphis, the nation saw it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just, those guys. If I take it back, I go A-. I said B++. I go A-.
Yeah. Do you think? Let me ask you this. So obviously, they came out of the AAC championship, and we actually did an interview. Christian Fowler with Bluff City Media did an interview with Kendrick Davis a few days ago, and he talked about one of the things that he regrets is that he felt like the team, the players were they kind of reveled in that AAC tournament win a little longer than they should have, and that's what caused them to come out and play flat in that first round in the NCAA tournament against FAU. What were your thoughts on that? Do you buy that? Do you think that's kind of what happened?
That could happen. That could happen. You know, Coach Pastner used to always tell us, you know, it's sort of in the same neighborhood, under the same umbrella, but Coach Pastner used to always tell us, never read your own newspaper clippings. Never read your own newspaper clippings, because something like that could happen. You know, if I come off a basketball game and I just put up a double-double, and then I walk into the next game thinking, you know, I got the juice, and it backfire and I play like crap, and it's just all downhill from there, that could 100% happen. Just like, you know, a team could very easily get looked over after, you know, you got one team on the docket, but then you're looking past that team to play another team. I mean, stuff like that can happen. If you sit and, like you said, relish in something way too long, you'll forget the task at hand. And the AAC was cool, but that NCAA tourney was what we needed to be focused on. Now, a lot of people had a lot to say, but anybody that watch basketball or really know basketball, like, you know, fans can sit there and watch it and say what they want, but anybody that really, really watched basketball would have seen, not at that time, but would have seen throughout that tournament that FAU was a damn good basketball team.
Are you a proponent of basketball math, where there's some Tiger fans that are out there saying, man, if they had just beat FAU, they would have been in Final Four?
Because let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you what FAU did that we didn't do. They took it one game at a time. One game at a time. They played like they were focused on the task at hand, and it showed. They played together. They played poised. They played under control. And my boy, I made a comment about it on Twitter. My guy that I said looked like Bobby Schmurder. I forget his name.
John L. Davis.
Yes.
It's a beast.
Killer.
And then bringing them all back.
Man.
And they're coming to the AAC next year.
Yeah. So that's going to be a good rivalry to have coming off of, you know, the stint we just had.
Let me ask you a question. It's difficult. I played basketball for a while, never to the level that Kendrick Davis and Malcolm Dandridge have. Obviously never to the level that you've played. Being in the arena and seeing the meltdown that happened on the sideline between the two of them, you've been a part of teams that have had those kinds of teammate interactions that feel, you know, those statements that have come out from the team since then has been that, you know, two competitive guys wanting to win. And I'm going to be frank with you, Will, being in the arena and seeing, I don't know what you saw on the TV. I don't know how much they showed of it on the TV. It felt very different. I mean, it was a utter meltdown on that sideline that lasted for a good 30 to 45 seconds to maybe to a minute long, where everybody was going at each other. Frank Haith was physically going after Malcolm Dandridge. Kendrick Davis physically going after Malcolm Dandridge. Jaden Hardaway and I forgot, maybe Alex were getting into it with each other. I mean, it was unbelievable. Like, it was a wild scene. After it got done, I looked at Christian and I said, yeah, I think that's it, man. I think that's the game. You've been a part of these teams where things like this have happened, that and it doesn't derail a game or derail a season, but do you feel like that was a little bit different of a situation?
Yeah, because it was the time it was happening. Because before that went down, man, I can't remember exactly what happened, but I think someone, if I can't recall, someone may have blown an assignment. And with the game on the line, it was like a minute left, a minute and some change maybe. I can't remember exactly how much time, but it was a very crucial moment in that game.
Right.
And when you have guys break down and blow assignments at crucial points in the game, you're going to respond to it one of two ways. You either going to, respond to it, step up, put it, get it back in the road and handle your business, or you're going to fall apart. And I just think at that moment, knowing what was on the line and knowing what had happened, guys may have freaked out.
Do you think that, because I think there might have been, and I might be totally wrong on this, I think there might have been like 4 or 5 minutes left in the game when that happened.
Okay, all right.
So there was plenty of time for the Tigers to kind of make up for it. But there was, it felt like once that happened, well, number one, it caused Penny to take Malcolm off the floor for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Which I think is a big deal because you see how they ended up losing that game on a pretty easy, if you had a 6'11" big man in the paint who can challenge at the rim, probably alters that layup that ends up losing the game with 7 seconds left. But there's quite a few blown assignments after that too that I wonder if that was a result of just the team.
That was just the beginning.
That
was just the beginning. And people don't understand, like, I hear what you're saying, which is true, 4 to 5 minutes left in the game. And that's plenty of time to edge a comeback or to make some things happen or to get back right. But what was the momentum like? Because if something like that happens and it's like the gas is just sucked out of your arena, it ain't going to matter what you do because that momentum is going to happen. I saw it. I can't remember which game I was watching the other day. I think the Warriors were playing maybe the Pelicans. I can't remember. This was a couple weeks ago. Warriors was down like 15-20. Draymond Green, and this happens. This has happened. I've seen this happen to me multiple times in person, and I've seen it on TV. Draymond Green, his team, the gas is gone. They're getting demolished. So all of a sudden, Draymond Green picks up like 2 techs and a foul within like 30 seconds. Or excuse me, a tech and 2 fouls because you get them 2 techs, you gone. A tech and 2 fouls, and like all of a sudden, Golden State comes alive. They come back, and they just stomp the Pelicans. Now, same thing could happen, in any collegiate game or the game we're talking about, the Tigers versus FAU. If the momentum is gone, you're done.
The momentum was gone in that game.
Yeah, if it's, we did so, it becomes not demoralizing, but it kind of is like, you start second guessing yourself if you go up on a team and then they're just slowly clawing their way back, it just makes it seem like, oh man, like what are we doing? Like what is happening? Yeah. Like what are we doing wrong? Why can't we do it right? This team just won't go away.
Right.
And that shows resilience on one team, and then the other, you kind of, want to know what's going on. But basketball is a game of runs, and stuff like that happens.
Yep. Well, obviously that was a massively disappointing. I mean, because you felt like the Sweet 16 was there for the taking because they, we were in the arena the game before that Memphis FAU game where, Fairleigh Dickinson had beat Purdue in the first round, 16 versus 1. And so you feel like, hey, man, they're going to beat FAU. Then they're going to come out and they're going to play Fairleigh Dickinson and they're going to beat them. And then it was making plans to go to Madison Square Garden and play the University of Tennessee Volunteers.
Let me tell you something.
Is that the biggest game? Would that have been the biggest game in Penny Hardaway's career?
100%.
That'd been wild,
because they ducked us the first time. I'm just going, I don't know exactly what happened, but as a Tiger fan, they ran from us.
Listen, I was walking into the arena, the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville when they canceled the game, and it was because 70% of the Tigers were out with COVID. They had gotten tested that day.
That's us, man. I'm not gonna, get into that.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
It's a lot of stuff that people, politics. I ain't gonna get into it. But in my mind, they ran from us. Anyways, if we would have got up, and if we would have got to the point to where we was playing Tennessee, I'm telling you this right now. I don't know how I would have got up there, I would have had to sell something, maybe even my body.
I'd have credentialed you, man.
But
I
I
would have
would've-
gotten you up there, bro.
I would have got up there.
Listen, I had no clue listen, next year you're coming with us. Next year you're with us, bro. I was trying. The day before I tried. And you, number one, it was too late a notice for you.
Yeah.
Number two, man, it was so frustrating. I wish, man,
I would have had a lot of fun.
we would have had a blast up there. That'd have been a blast. But let's move. Hey, listen, man, this is a few months ago, about a month ago. We can move on.
Yeah, we can.
I genuinely, I think that Penny said it in the post game of that FAU game. He said, "Man, I know now what it takes." And I think there's a level of confidence that he has reached as a coach now that is going to project him and his Memphis Tiger team in the future towards higher heights. And I think you're starting to see where he's going, what he's trying to do. And he has been, can we just say this, Will? There is no question anymore about the kind of player that Penny can bring to the he can get players to come to the University of Memphis.
He can get them. He has shown and proven he can get guys in here. Now, there's a lot of conversation after that. Will he be able to develop them? Will he be able to get them to the next level? There's so many things that come after, but like you said, there's no doubt that Penny Hardaway can get guys to this school, to this city, and make it happen. And he has reloaded, and things are rolling. And you can see, with the commits, the hard commits, and the signed players, he getting after it. He's getting after it.
Who are you of the guys? So he has a class of right now 6 incoming freshmen. Actually, right now it's 5.
Right.
Tyler Johnson, starting point guard, up in. I think he's in New York, maybe not New York.
New Jersey.
New Jersey, thank you. Has not officially signed a national letter of intent. There are questions about whether or not he's going to be able to qualify, unfortunately. Right. But, he's got those 5 guys that have signed, that are hard signees that have signed, that are coming in a part of this freshman class.
Yeah.
But he's been extremely active in the transfer portal. He had last weekend 4 guys show up to visit and 3 committed. Batting 750, baby. Who have you seen that you're like, man, this is a guy I'm extremely interested in seeing put on a Memphis Tiger uniform next year?
Man, big fella we just signed, Pierre.
Bro.
Come on. I'm amped. I'm amped to see him get after it. Like, I'm really amped to watch him just get here and start hooping.
Dude, he was 5'9" as a sophomore in high school. Graduated high school 6'2", and in one calendar month, 30 days, 6'7".
Yeah, that's.
And now he's 6'10", and doctors are saying he's going to be a 7-footer before he finishes growing.
7 feet playing the 3, the 2.
Have you seen his game? Have you seen?
Man, I have no words. I'm excited to see what happens. He's going to be a freshman. It's going to be a learning curve, things like that. But I'm excited to see him get in here and make things happen because, he got the metrics that sounds like a monster.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see if it's all, applicable.
Well, there's, one of the things he talked about is as he grew so quickly. Imagine growing. What was your biggest growth spurt? Were you always big?
Or middle school. I probably in like a year and a half, I probably went from about 6'3" to about 6'6", I guess. That's not really that big, but
it's kind of a normal one, right?
Yeah.
He went in 30 days, grew 5-6 inches.
Yeah, that's kind of bananas.
And that's painful, right?
Yeah,
do you remember having those growth spurt growing pains like that?
Knees and everything.
Knees and ankles and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's painful now. It hurts.
And so that's kind of what, he came out of high school, and you hear these stories all the time about kids not, kids kind of getting overlooked and having like 2-3 D1 offers and taking that offer and going. He had one offer, and it was a D2 college in South Florida, Nova Southeastern.
Yeah.
And he struggled his first year, didn't play much because he was still growing, and had to figure out his game because he had played guard his entire life. And all of a sudden now is 6'9".
So he got the handles.
And so that's what he talked about. We actually just did an interview with he did an interview that dropped last night with Christian Fowler, and he talked about that, like how that God-given height that he was given, that his guard skills translated over.
Yeah.
Which is why you see the way he plays now. He's incredibly unselfish, can handle the ball, and shot 40% from three-point line.
Unicorn, dog.
Man.
Unicorn, and that says, and let me tell you something about that 40%. So obviously this guy coming from where he come from, he the man, right? All these guys are the man. When you coming from the school you come from, I can't emphasize enough. This guy is, a senior. He the man at his school. So he getting up majority of the shots. He's putting up majority of the shots that's going through this offense. He the go-getter. He the bucket getter. Like, so majority of this offense is blowing through him. And if you telling me he getting majority of those shots and 40% are coming from three, he can knock it down.
Yeah.
And he can knock it down.
Yeah.
So I think, us having a shooter has been, we've waited long and long for this. So I think this is going to be something that's very jubilous, if you will, and I think this is something that Tiger fans can be very excited about.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously Jonathan Pierre's what's his talent like? What's he going to look like on the floor? Coming from a D2 college to a high level Division I, where he's not going to be head and shoulders talent wise above everybody else.
Right.
How will his game translate? And I think for me, there's a couple of things that are translatable no matter where you play ball, and that's your height, your ability to shoot, and just that winning culture.
Yeah.
He was 67-1 in 2 years at Nova Southeastern. They lost one game, bro. 34-0 last year, winning the D2 national championship at Nova Southeastern this year. And I mean, so there's definitely some excitement there.
Right.
Have you been able to see much about this TFL Leonard kid that's coming from MTSU?
I haven't, man. I haven't. I've just been I've been chewing up bits and pieces. Yeah. I guess someone that has a show probably should let fans know what you watch and see. But I'm kind of like, man, I've gotten to a point to where I want to see what's going on when it happens, because it's very easy to put, expectations on somebody, right, and then, they right, come out and it's not what you expect, and then everybody's just kind of like, well, you said, and I get people will do that sometimes, but I'm kind of curious to see what happens when it happens, and then get out here and I'm like, yo, this kid right here is next level. You know what I mean?
You want to see him on the floor and see what's going on first before you start giving your thought processes on what it's going to be about. And I agree with you on that. I'm the same way. I hesitate to kind of give predictions on what guys are going to do when they get here. Mm-hmm. There just seems to be, with this TFL Leonard kid, he's a 6'7", 205-pound wing who is extremely long, extremely athletic, and is automatically going to come in and be a absolute game changer in terms of the defense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just having that length on defense and having that athleticism on defense is going to raise a lot of hell for a lot of offensive teams. And one thing that I think they should start doing, I think deflections is a slept-on stat.
100%.
I think that 100% needs to be in someone's stat line. I think it shows activeness. I think it shows awareness. And I think it shows a nose for the ball when you're in the right place at the right time, because you know what's about to happen.
Totally agree. I did that with my nephew this year. first time he's ever played real competitive basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And the stat that I made him set a goal for and try to achieve each game was deflections.
Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand. That's a slept-on stat, man. So I think a lot of people, maybe the NCAA or somebody will wake up and just kind of be like, all right, let's throw this in here.
Yeah.
And I know the game is constantly changing and it's evolving and things are happening, but
yeah,
I think that's something that should 100% end up in a stat line is deflections.
I mean, and I think if you look at the way that Penny Hardaway has, the way his teams function,
Mm-hmm.
he is clearly has a very specific mindset in terms of defense and how really good defense turns into offense.
Right.
And you can see it with the guys that he's getting in this transfer portal. Not only getting TFL Leonard, who is a deflection, steals, and blocks guy, gets 2 to 3 of those each game.
Right.
Which is at 6'7" is wild. That's a crazy statistic.
Oh yeah, man.
But then you look at a guy like Caleb Mills, who Tiger fans remember from Houston when he was a freshman and then coming in as a sophomore, ended up getting hurt as a sophomore and transferring to Florida State. Has spent 2 years at Florida State, and unfortunately Florida State has had a couple of rough years, specifically last year, so nobody really I don't think anybody really kind of remembers Caleb Mills for what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at Caleb Mills' stuff, he is a 6'5" ball handler, slasher, can shoot when needed, but is a facilitator. And one of the things that he loves to do is he loves to pick the ball up on rebounds, deflections, whatever, and go. He's a go guy.
And a guy like that, what makes him so dangerous, everything you said makes him elite. But I think what makes him the most elite is because you find this, it's hard to find guys like this these days. He know his role. He know his role, man. Like everything you just said, it's just, it fits perfect in any kind of system. Everybody loves a good slasher. Every team needs a damn good ball handler. And everybody needs somebody who's ready to push the offense because you're going to have your wings who need to get to their spaces, ready for, to set up for shots or to get the offense going. Any kind of motion offense, if you got a guy that like to push the ball, you can make stuff happen. And when you have guys like that, it makes them deadly. And when you have guys who know their role, who stays in their role and plays their role, that makes every coach wants a guy like that.
Yeah.
Every coach wants a guy like that. Then we got size on him. So, I mean, you really can't go wrong right there because he just brings so much to the table with the simple fact that he knows what he's supposed to be doing and he does it.
And let's not forget, man, a part of that recruiting class coming in from high school is Mikey Williams, top 30 player in his class, 6'3", 6'2", ball handler, playmaker, shot maker. And then J.J. Taylor, big wing, a big forward who can stretch. And then let's not forget also, have you seen much of his son, Ashton? Have you seen film of him? Big and can shoot.
I know it's real easy to get excited, and I'm super excited. I think I'm more excited for Penny to see if he can rein this thing in and get these guys to play together and play on the same page versus watching the actual players play.
You know what, man? I 1,000% agree with that.
Because he got a lot of talent all across the board. And you got a very dangerous spot here where you got Mikey Williams, who has enough money now to pay enough grown men they full salary for the year. I mean, it is what it is. Now, how will guys feel like that or feel about that? You never know until these guys get here because, the NCAA doing that thing, ruled in favor for these guys. There's ways for these guys to make money now. I'm not saying this how it will be, but what'll happen if every time you look up, Mikey Williams got to go do a photo shoot, a video shoot, throw some headphones on, shoot a commercial or something like that, and everybody else is just kind of waiting in the wings, waiting on their opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited to see how Penny handles that and gets everybody on the same page.
He talked about that in the post game after the FAU game. He said that it took until, and you mentioned it earlier, we did not hear anything like last year where Penny was very vocal about some of the issues that the locker room was having. Mm-hmm. We didn't hear about those things this year. But then he made this remark in the post game where he said, it took us until probably about January, and this is me kind of semi-quoting him, it took us until about January to get all the guys on the same page. And he was kind of reminiscing and saying, like, wishing that he could have gotten it done quicker. And right. I wonder, like, that's what I think is exciting about how the guys that he's recruiting in the high school and the transfer portal is that these guys are all, the guys that he's getting, they are all ready to go right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's nobody that has to sit for a waiver.
Mm-mm.
Nobody's having to, it's getting them into the facility. And I'm excited. I want Penny to get them in there now.
Yeah. What they call them houses, when you got a house on the market, it's turnkey ready.
Let's go.
Turnkey ready. All you got to do is get them boys off the airplane, bus, car, train, however they get to Memphis, give them their first pair of shoes, deck them out, lace them up, get the ball on the court, let's go.
Right now.
Like immediately. And, I don't know what the rule is. The NCAA, it's. I feel like it changes every year to year. I don't know what's the earliest you can get guys in, but knowing what I know now, like being older and seeing how basketball works now and the world of social media and all the things, I'm making a group text now. Like, fellas, get to Memphis ASAP.
Right. And
it got to be it got to be a Mikey Williams. All these guys are hoopers, but like, just because of his current clout right now, maybe it take a Mikey. Hey, Coach P, send me everybody's phone number right now. Hey, guys, I'm headed to Memphis on this date. I need everybody there as soon as you can get there.
I'm challenging every one of y'all to a run the day we get there.
Yeah, man. It got to be something. First person that can beat me in a mile run, anything, just anything. I think that's kind of fun.
Bring out some lace it up. Let's go.
Let's just go hoop, man. Let's get familiar with the city. Because that stuff like that, like I speak about it all the time, but like Willie Kemp and all those guys, they were before us. The relationships that they had, those were built off the court. Going out, hanging out, parlaying at the, out and about. That's how those relationships were built. Me, Wesley Witherspoon, Drew Barton, Willie Kemp was a part of that too, but like we spent a lot of time hanging out together. Hey, y'all, let's go hit the mall. Let's ride out the Wolf Chase. Let's go get something to eat. Let's go. That continuity and that relationship and those relationships and things like that were built off the court. So if those guys can get here, hey, y'all, let's go get some barbecue. Let's hit the football game. Let's go watch the Palm Squad. Just show the support for the city and the team. It'll come back tenfold, man. I think the sooner they realize that, the better off they will be on the court.
Well, I mean, if you remember the last couple of classes that Penny's had, some of the main focal point guys didn't commit until the week before school started.
Yeah, man.
They didn't get there until the week before, so there's all summer.
Right.
Nobody was in people just doing one-on-ones, little workouts.
I changed that.
At this point, that's over and done with.
Yeah.
Like, they got those guys. They're here. Like, get them here. Yeah. They're signed and ready. The dotted line is there. Get them here.
Yeah. Get here ASAP.
And that I think will do wonders for just the mentality of the team and the guys that are a part of it, that they're not all in this alone, that they got the team right there with them.
Yeah.
They're all together.
Yeah.
I think that'll do wonders for this program.
Oh yeah, for sure. Listen, we're super excited, super pumped about what's to come, man. Can't wait until things start to unfold for my Memphis Tigers this year. Penny has reloaded and got some action-packed stuff coming in, action-packed things happening. Obviously, it's a couple questions in on the coaching front and stuff like that, but super excited to see what unfolds. Penny has made it very clear that he has no problem getting who he wants when he wants. So y'all stay tuned, stay glued. Tigers coming in big this year. I'm super excited about it. Y'all stay tuned. Coming up next, catching up with Coleman. Got a lot to talk about. Very, very expensive volleyball trip with my baby. And it raises a lot of questions about the youth and athletics and, of course, finances. So stay tuned. Coming up next, catching up with Coleman.
I ain't let it hit. They can't hang with me, dog. It's your roster in it, bitch. Man, stop playing with me, dog. Got it.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that we have partnered with Coaching for Literacy, and you can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your subscription to Bluff City NIL is 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. Thank you for supporting Memphis Tiger student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
What's happening? Listen, I'm just gonna cut right to the chase here, okay? Kids expensive, dog. Kids expensive. I mean, and I'm a dive into this here. It's multiple things to unpack here because I'm a little flustered. My brain is kind of rattled. So, week or two ago, I'm on the docket. I'm up. I'm next. I'm lined up. My daughter's playing some competitive volleyball. So, her mom, and, I can't stress it enough. Maybe I'll have them in here one day. Maybe her and her husband. Who knows? Amazing relationship with these two, So, I'm up. I'm on the docket. It's my turn. I got to get my baby to Atlanta for her volleyball tournament. It's cool. We get there, all right? We make it happen. We drive down there. We safe and happy. Everything is good. But I just want to talk about just everything that entailed this particular weekend. First and foremost, I want to talk about the food at this venue. So we had the club. My baby played for the juniors. The club. We got partnerships and relationships with certain hotels, partners and stuff around these tournaments that we go to, for obvious reasons. But we won't dive into it. But we get there. We at the Omni. Okay, nice hotel, cool. But in Atlanta, where the Omni is, it's almost like that joint is like landlocked, okay? Because you got the Omni, then you got State Farm, then you got Mercedes-Benz. They all right here on this one like little square. So you can forget about driving in and out of there. I mean, they got parking garages and places to park down there. But the cheapest place to park over in that area is probably like $30 a day. That's the cheapest I saw for that weekend.
Good Lord.
Some was 40, some was 50. I mean, just the situation alone with driving there. So the night we get there, we show up on the night of Keith Sweat and all these older guys, this concert in Atlanta. Circus.
Tell me you didn't want to go to that concert.
I mean, I kind of did want to go.
I know you
I
did.
kind of did want to go.
Sing us a Keith Sweat song real quick.
Man, let me that's LSG. Hold on. My body all over your body, baby. Yeah. My body all over, it's your body, baby. Then, they got the synthesizer and all that. I ain't got that in me, but I'll go see Keith Sweat. He a little seasoned now. It's way before my time, but I'll go see Keith Sweat. They was having a tournament. A concert. So it was a circus when we get there. So, we get to our spots. We finally get some rest. We wake up. It's time to go play. We're playing. Now, thankfully, this venue was very nice about it, okay? This venue was very nice about it. They were letting people bring outside food in. Now, Let me tell you what the problem is with that. Of course, you can bring outside food in, but where that location was, you wasn't going to get any other food because it's not like you can just hop in your car and go somewhere and then come back because the traffic was horrendous all weekend. So I didn't know that. It was my first time up there. So guess what? We got to buy food, snacks, refreshments within the venue. Within the venue. And I'm going to tell you the first time I got knocked over the head. All right? This set the tone right here. I knew it was going to be a crazy weekend when this right here happened. Baby was hungry. You know, I didn't want to buy anything because, you know, the vendors that was there. Another discussion. We'll get into that in a second. Okay. A sandwich, turkey sandwich, fruit cup, parfait, chips. That's all I got.
Yeah, man.
That's all I got. $32.
Wait.
$32.
Who was making these sandwiches?
I don't know.
They're like Gordon Ramsay set up?
$32, dog. $32. So then, you know, I was like, all right, this is absolutely bananas. This is nuts. So I'm like, okay, all right, I bite the bullet. So then, you know, we still rolling, we hanging out. Of course, typical kid fashion. Your kid don't want nothing you bought. So your $32 in the trash can. I'm sure every parent can relate. You buy something, you think your kid I don't want this. They don't eat it. She'll take a smoothie though. So they got smoothies out there. I think it was like a 12-ounce cup. You know, they making smoothies. First off, the smoothies was very good. You know, they was top notch. I really wish I would have gotten more, but I didn't. My baby wanted a smoothie. 12-ounce cup. May have been 16. I don't know. I don't care. $10.
Man.
$10. And it's just like, what is happening?
Was there ginseng in that smoothie?
I don't know what was in it, man, but it was great. It was greatly priced, too. It was greatly priced. It was expensive, dog. It was expensive. Not to mention, when you get to the turn, you got to pay to get in. God forbid you watch your own kid play for free. I get these kids, you know, I get these venues got to pay for, they got to cover stuff, they got to pay for things. But this is extraordinary, man. So, you know, they get you, you know, they try and make you think it's a deal. Oh, you can pay 20 or you can pay 25 for one day, or you can pay 90 for the whole weekend. And, you know, some clubs may not be guaranteed games the whole weekend, and depending on how you lose or whatever, it's bracket play. But, I mean, so a parent, you know, somebody that I know or somebody that I saw met the guy that was putting on the tournament. And first off, I don't even know what the name of this venue was, but it was huge. I mean, it had like 3 concourses, and every concourse, it had about 80 volleyball courts. So it was massive. Y'all went to State Farm, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was connected to the Omni right across.
Right.
I don't know what that building's called, but it is massive.
Yeah.
So
it's like a convention center.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. But you paying to get in, and this guy, talking to people, just from registration alone, the dude that was putting on the tournament said he brought in like $900K.
Right. Bankroll.
And I don't know insurance, power to run the place, lights, food, vendors. I don't know how that works.
This man just offered that information to you?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Man might need to keep some secrets, man.
Yeah, man. And I'm like, this is I get, you know, you got to have exposure to, you know, the top talent things and stuff like that. But like, I mean, just the amount of money that you have to pay to facilitate and watch your kid play sports with the best of the best has become outrageous.
I got a question for you, Will, on this. You have obviously your daughter, Charlie, she's 12.
About to be 12 in May.
About to be 12. she comes from a very athletic mom and dad.
Yeah.
So she's very clearly got those athletic genes, plays the game. She enjoys volleyball. You two have made the decision to let her go all in on chasing this volleyball dream.
Yeah.
I have an 11-year-old daughter.
Yes.
Who is, and me and you were texting about this about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
She's playing rec ball right now, rec volleyball for the first time, second season, and she's trying to make the decision. And I think because she's fallen in love with the game. Right now she's playing rec ball, practices once a week, has two nights a week where she plays games. Not a big time investment, commitment, anything like that.
Right.
She wants to play club next year, and she wants to try out for the middle school team. I know what that entails. I'm hearing it from you right now, what that entails.
Yeah.
How did you know, like, should that stand in the way of me letting my daughter take that next step?
It shouldn't, man. It shouldn't. And this us having our first year, doing this our first year, I know I've decided to do a couple things. One, I need to go ahead and start saving now because it get expensive because these folks travel every single weekend throughout their season. They're traveling.
Hotels,
all
travel,
of it, man. All of it.
Tournament expenses.
Yeah, all of it, man. And like, I'm gonna tell you the ultimate hack right here. I nominate myself because I'm a cheap ass anyway. Like I will squeeze and pinch every penny I got. That's just, I learned a lot, after COVID and stuff like that. I will hold on to every single red cent I got. And I'm telling you this right now. I 100%, I'm signing up. I'm team dad next year. If we do this again, I'm team dad.
Wow.
I'm the team dad because I'm telling you, I'm couponing my ass off. I'm Costco. I'm all over the place with it because you can save so much more money if you figure out and plan your trips. Because I think this is everybody's first year on the team we're playing with, and everybody's like, "Let's go out to eat. Let's go do this. Let's hit this spot. Let's hit this spot."
You're like, where's the dollar menu?
Right. And I'm like, look, man, I get it. I've learned over time, learned hard ways and easy ways that I very well need to act my wage a lot of the times. And I have no problem telling people, look,
100%.
I ain't got the funds for this, dog.
Yep.
I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you say. I ain't got the ends for this. And I've run into a couple moments like that just over the past weekend. But like, if you sign up to do something like this, I'm telling you, having a team dad that sit down, or just somebody in general, team mom, team dad, sit down and plan this stuff out, you could save so much more money. Because I'm watching other teams, parents together in the lobby. You have your team bonding events and stuff like that. I seen one team in the lobby playing checkers. I may have saw chess out there, but they got Panera, they got Costa, they got the snacks, they got the food, all of that, to where they didn't even have to leave the hotel. Because people don't understand, like right now, it's fun. But if you get to this level, especially as a parent, and you spending all this money, every athlete that know if they want to be elite, it ain't no such thing as fun.
Work.
It's because what we're playing for bid to go to nationals. We're playing for a bid to go to nationals in Minnesota. And we only got one more opportunity, and that's a tournament in town next weekend. It's in Cordova. It's a home tournament, so we won't have to travel this time. But we only got one more chance. And you can't keep screaming, let's have fun, let's have fun, let's have fun, because I'm a competitor, man. And I'm not saying other parents aren't. I'm a competitor. And if we traveling all over the country to play volleyball and we getting our head beat in every week after spending all this money to travel,
at some point you got to go, yo, this
like,
ain't worth it, man.
What's up, man? Are we going, I can see it, and I get it. It's a fine line because you got 11, 12-year-old girls who've never played the sport. They do want to have fun. They want to be with their friends. But there's one particular girl on Charlie's team. Her dad's a coach for the organization. There's one particular girl who is just die-hard volleyball. And you can see it on her face when something go wrong. She upset. If something don't go right, she look like she almost about to cry. when something is off, she upset. Everybody else just kind of, it's okay. They hug, laugh, giggle, stuff like that.
And she's ready to tear heads off. Huh?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand, especially with her dad. Apparently her dad's a nationally ranked volleyball coach.
Right.
And so she lives and breathes it. And if something doesn't go right, she's upset.
Right.
So I get where it comes from. But if you end up doing this next year, come see me, because I'm gonna give you all the game to save you all the money, man.
All right, I got a question. So this is my conundrum as well. Like, I'm in a bad spot, man, because like I'm a competitor too, and I am of the mindset of, if you're gonna play, you better play your hardest at all times. And so I have to recognize that my daughter is playing in rec ball, so there's girls that are just trying to figure out if they want to play the game or not. And it's very difficult for me, man. Like, I was texting you about it, and I was just like, it is so frustrating to watch the same girls have the same bad habits every single game.
Yeah.
How do you negotiate that competitive juices within you flowing? Because, like, listen, for people that don't understand it, as somebody who's played high-level Division I sports, professional basketball, you're a competitor. Everybody knows that. When it's your kid out there, it is like an extension of you.
Yeah.
And you get just as competitive.
Oh yeah, man.
How have you navigated being that encourager, but also saying, okay?
Yeah. I let her know. I ask her. I continue to ask her. Do you want to play? Do you want to play? And I ask her, do you love volleyball? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you like it? And just kind of reassure her through questions that I ask, because if you're going to do this, then you need to make it, because she could be great. 11 years old, 5'9", got the height, got the athleticism. But I have to let her know, like, your parents are specimens. This, you don't, your mom, athletic freak, great dancer, palm dancer, all the things, tore it up in school, won national championships on the dance circuit. Your dad played a lot of basketball, high-level basketball, stuff like that. So it's you got it in you. But at some point, you're going to have to decide if you really want to do this or not, because
now it's not just a, hey, find your way. It's you're finding your way as I'm shelling out a shit ton of money.
Yeah. And like, so we were watching these girls play. Let me tell you something, man. These were 16-year-olds we went to watch. Dog. These look like grown women. Like, I'm talking just athletic, bouncy, over the net, spiking the ball. I mean, it was insane, man. It just don't, you can't take it for granted, man. You can't take it lightly, because if you do, you will get embarrassed.
Right.
Embarrassed. And I let her know that. And that's something that she got to pay attention to, because everything falls into play. The way you play, the way you get into that age to where sleep is important.
Yep.
Your nutrition is important. Things are important. So you need to pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And speaking of nutrition, man, listen, these venues, they got the kids playing and all day volleyball, all day, kids, pizza, fried rice, chicken tenders, soda, stuff like this. And then it's really messed up when venues don't allow you to bring in outside food, but you want to serve hot dogs, chicken tenders, and pizza to kids who on their feet all day playing volleyball.
Get them with sugar, man. Ply them with sugar so they crash.
You just somebody that got to perform. Saturday, the day before my daughter, she had a 3-day weekend this past weekend in Dallas. I think she played 5 matches Saturday alone. when you got 5 matches of volleyball and then they force the girl. Well, I ain't gonna say they force them because it sound bad. Because apparently there's a shortage in referees throughout the sport.
Right.
The children have to help ref the games.
Crazy.
So you up for an hour playing a volleyball game. Then after you play, you got to stand to be a line judge. And then you got to get right back out there to play. And in between time, you mean to tell me the only thing they can eat is fried food and pizza? Hey.
It ain't good, man.
Something got to shake. Something got to change. You know, there's a lot I'm venting about. It just for someone that's invested and I love watching. I'm a huge fan. I got threatened to get thrown out multiple times because I'm screaming and yelling. It's kind of a blessing and a curse. Yeah, I'm understanding and learning the game so I can enjoy it more, but I'm also complaining a lot more because I know what's going on.
Right.
So refs are kind of like, you need to sit down. You need to back up or you need to leave. But again, I'm just competitive, you know, but as you get older, and then don't mess around and find a dad on the opposite team that's loud as you. Because then it's going to turn into a screaming match.
Then it might turn into a little something.
This is going to turn into a screaming match.
And the next thing you know, Will's all over TMZ.
It's going to be, you're going to be trying to out-scream the other dad. And
oh, my God.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun, but let me tell you, if you decide to get into competitive or club volleyball next year, let me know.
I will.
I'm giving you all the nuggets, man.
Hey, and this is for anybody that's watching.
Anybody.
This is entirely relatable to the audience that watches your stuff, Will, because we're all dealing with this stuff.
Yeah, man, and it's across the board now. Baseball, basketball, volleyball. I don't care if you're in a professional hopscotch competition. They're gonna find a way to overcharge you for interest and that entrance and that sidewalk chalk. I don't care what it is. It's getting astronomical. It's getting out of hand. We need to fix it. Anyways, thank y'all for coming to my TED Talk.
That's a good TED Talk. Hey, listen, that's a good TED Talk.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, man. We're about to get into, one of my favorite segments, man, the Bluff City Badass. It's an award. Once we get to that point, there's a lot of things I want to do with this segment. Maybe a T-shirt, a gift certificate, maybe a case of beer. I don't know, but I want to figure something out that's doable, shippable to people that I nominate. But this week's Bluff City Badass, I want to give it to Charlie's mom, Miss Raffi Hendricks, and I'm going to tell you why. Again, I will preach on it till I'm blue in the face because it's hands down my biggest blessing, the relationship I have with her and her husband and the way we co-parent. But the reason I give it to her is because she there was a moment in time where she made me extremely uncomfortable last weekend, or 2 weeks ago when I was in Atlanta. So as a dad, I'm slowly learning about hormones and preteen females, okay? So we get to Atlanta last Friday, or 2 Fridays ago, and my daughter is low. Energy's low, don't want to speak to anybody, don't want anybody to say anything to her, just puts on her headphones and goes to sleep. So immediately, I'm freaking out. What did I do? What happened? Did I say something? So I freak out and I text her mom. Now, Charlie loves her mom, is just team mom right now, and I understand that, and that's okay. So obviously, I'm in the back of my mind. Well, let me reach out to her mom because I'm sure she knows what's going on. And her mom tells me, figure it out. Not as in like leave me alone, but you're her dad, and stuff like this is going to happen, and you're going to have to learn to deal with it. I'm not going to always be there with y'all hanging out, or if something is going wrong. You need to get uncomfortable and you need to talk with your daughter and figure out what's going on. And it wasn't a malicious text. It wasn't a ugly conversation. She wasn't screaming. She was genuinely wanting me and letting me be a dad and have a hard conversation with my kid, because I fear that this is only the beginning. My daughter's 11. She's getting older. Her mood is starting to change. Her body is starting to change. Things are happening. And the emotions come with it. And so the fact that her mother gave me the opportunity or really forced me to figure things out on my own as a dad is something that I'm extremely grateful for. And just period. The relationship we've all built and the ability and the length or the jurisdiction, if you will, however you want to call it, the fact that she lets me be a dad to my kid is something that I'm extremely grateful for. So this week, Miss Raffi Hendricks, you and your husband both are Bluff City badasses this week. I'm extremely grateful for you two, extremely happy, extremely over the moon in all things when it comes to co-parenting and the relationship that we have raising this young lady. I can't thank you enough. Extremely appreciative. Looking forward to many, many more moments and opportunities to where we face hardships and adversity in raising a beautiful young lady together. Ladies and gentlemen,
I knew this was coming. I knew Raffi was going to get the Bluff City Bad. Listen, I saw the Instagram. She said, yo, what's going on here? That's crazy though, Will. Like, I feel like as you're talking through this, I'm like sitting here going, oh my God, like this is me too right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, can't rely on mom to always step in and try to figure things out. And it's as you're especially when they're daughters, man, like it is a crazy experience being an involved dad to a growing daughter who's going through those very same things.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So kudos to you for not shying away from it. So not only is Raffi and her husband Bluff City badasses, but I would also say, as an honorary member of this podcast, you, sir, are a Bluff City badass for being willing to engage, because it would be so easy just to be like, I'm not, listen, I don't have those hormones. Those things aren't flowing through my body. And I'm not gonna worry about it. There's plenty of dads that wouldn't be willing to dive into it. So congratulations, man.
And it was tough. And even when I did decide to talk to her, when we did talk, she let me know once I had to pry a little bit. I didn't want to make her uncomfortable, so I let her come into her own and decide when she wanted to come talk. And I just let her know, hey, I'm here. Whenever you want to talk, I'm here. So she slept on it. But when we woke up, she let me know straight up, Dad, I was the way I was last night because you're here. And during the matches on Friday, you were kind of all over the place. You were in your phone. I just felt like you weren't here. I felt like you weren't paying attention.
Wow.
And you bet your ass. Them next 2 days.
Man, what?
I put my phone in my pocket.
It didn't come out the pocket,
It
did
didn't come out the pocket at all.
Listen.
At all.
The fact that, listen, man, like, and that is something that I have tried to do with it would be so easy, man, like, for all the single dudes out there, like, it would be so easy. It's so easy to, like, shut those kinds of conversations out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to shut those down before they even start.
Oh, yeah.
But to be somebody who your daughter or your daughter's mom, who you are in a very close relationship with, can come to you and have those kinds of, like, heavy, hard conversations where they're calling you out and saying, hey, this is what needs to change. Dude, that's incredible, Will.
Man. And it wasn't always like, because I used to be the same way. Like, man, I don't want, feelings. What is that? Like, I used to run from it, man. It used to make me mad, uncomfortable, because I would always want to run from stuff like that. But, getting older and, hanging out with my kid, I'm like, man, it can't always be like this, man, because, it just can't.
And you just realize, man, the health of the people that are very close to you, your daughter, your daughter's mom, her husband, their kids, is more important than your pride. Than you feeling like, because it is a shot to the pride when you get told something that maybe you don't feel like is a problem, and you get told, hey, this was an issue for me. You have one or two ways to handle it. You can shut it down, or you can accept it and change.
Right. And it was unfamiliar territory, but we got through it, man. We got through it. My daughter got through it. After that day, after we talked, she had a blast. I was engaged, hanging out, screaming, I'm yelling, I'm rooting, I'm pointing, and she had a great time. And she enjoyed the rest of her weekend, and we brought it on home, man. So she was excited to get home, but that was a very hard lesson for me. It was something that I was, uncomfortable with, but something that had to happen. So Bluff City Badass, Raffy, Jameson, appreciate y'all. Ladies and gents, we've taken up enough of your time. Thank y'all for hanging out. Thank you for kicking it with us. We'll see y'all next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Will Coleman Show. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and a comment wherever you download your podcasts. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co, where you will find comprehensive coverage of Tiger athletics and how you can become a contributor.